Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Sorry, I'm still on my way back home. All right. And I just have to do this because of time. And our guest is also ready. So I'll quickly, because we don't want to waste too much of our time on this. Others will be joining as we continue, and I'll ask him to just proceed with the lecture so that we can manage the time very, very well. So, Mr. Olorun Koshebi, please just go ahead. So we hope that others will join us as we continue. So today we're going to be speaking on public speaking 101. So it's just some basics about public speaking and things that we're supposed to know, or things that we are supposed to be conversant with. And he's a specialist in this field. That's why we brought him on board. So he's going to take us through today to support us in understanding a lot of things. And I hope that we're going to learn a lot today. So over to you, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a pleasure being on this platform. Yes, like you said, the topic is public speaking. So I'll be talking to us in a few minutes about public speaking. Number one, what is public speaking? Public, as you said, is an art. Public speaking is an art, and so public speaking is the art of speaking. Now, the idea behind public speaking is that when we're speaking public speaking is when you're speaking to someone, you need an action. An action needs to be generated from your speaking. Let me read this. So every form of speaking is public speaking. Monologue. Monologue is when you're talking to yourself. So speaking publicly, or it is any of speech that is directed at a person or a group of people in order to achieve an action. What that means is this: if I speak publicly and there is no correspondence action to follow, that is not public speaking. Now, it's either negative or, or positive, excuse me. So, at the end of the day, speaking is verbal communication. Yes, verbal communication that allows you to communicate with somebody else at the end, and then when they hear what you've said, they understand what you've said, they can think about it, and they can take corresponding actions about it. So without them understanding you and taking necessary steps along the line of what you've said, public speaking is not achieved. Remember, every speech is public speaking. What does that mean? You understand? If that remains just a dormant statement and there's no action to set, if you're not taking an action towards being great, that is not public speaking. So public speaking leads to action. Public speaking leads to taking a step. Public speaking leads to you doing something about what has been said. So that is public speaking. Now, I said something. What are the types of public speaking? Now, you see, when you talk about types of public speaking, it's dependent on the audience you're talking to. The types of public speaking is defined by the people listening to you. For instance, if you're talking to yourself, like we said, it's still public speaking, but then it's just you. No. So another thing about the types of public speaking is the way I speak in church is different from the way I in a corporate setting, because my audience are different. In church, my audience are faith-based, and this covers any faith-based environment. So speaking is defined by the audience you're facing. For instance, I've had an opportunity to speak somewhere, and there's a style of speaking. I have my style of speaking, but as soon as I got there, I needed to, number one, study the mood of my audience. How are they feeling? In fact, there are times I get invited to come and speak. By the way, let me say this: I'm also a spoken word artist, which is also a form of speaking. Now, there are times I come to do my art, and before I'm brought on stage, all the people have spoken and they've said all sorts of things, and I say, "Hey, At this point, these people are feeling sleepy. So I need to understand their mood. Your type of public speaking is defined by number one, your audience. It's possible you speak publicly and persuade them to take an action to do something based on what I've said. Interested or something like that. Public speaking is not achieved. So the idea is the idea is, okay, I want to speak to someone. Okay, illiterate, are they highly educated, are they semi-literate, what are the experiences? So you want to look at all those. Like, of course, like I said, thank God for Pastor Mrs. The truth of the matter is that this is just a, let me say, a skeletal approach, just to let's have a feel of what public speaking is all about. But then, of course, we can do it from what are their backgrounds, what is their economic status, how are they thinking, what is their present mood, are they excited? All those need to be put in place when it comes to public speaking. I also need to say this point. I need to say this at this point. Everybody is a potential public speaker. I say that again. Every human being born of a woman is a potential public speaker, because right from babyhood, you speak. How do you speak? The cries of a baby is a form of speaking, because that is communication. The idea is verbal communication. And when a baby cries, for you mothers in the house, there's a way you respond. It's either your baby is hungry, your baby wants to sleep, and so on and so forth. So basically, everybody speaks. However, because public speaking is an art, it can be developed. In other words, when I started speaking as a little child, this was not how I was speaking. I needed to practice. Having practice, I needed to learn. How do you learn? Listen to other public speakers. Of course, I'll come to that later. But basically, everybody has the potential to speak publicly, because remember, public speaking is verbal communication. We can hear you. It's not written. We can hear you. So the bottom line is, as much as possible, everybody can speak. And like I said, it is something you can also learn. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself because of time. Now, I want to say something about persuasion. Persuasion is the same thing as public speaking, actually, is another word for it, because the idea is persuasion is like, we talk about orators. Orators come and speak. Now, a good orator with a bad intention will elicit a response, will persuade his or her audience to do accordingly, because persuasion is actually basically the bane of public speaking. Without persuasion, there is no public speaking. So you need to persuade your audience in order to get a response. In other words, when I speak to you, as long as you're not responding to what I said, public speaking is not achieved. Let me just tell you a story. Oh my. Okay, let me just tell you a story. Something that happened to me several years ago when I was in the university. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Absolutely.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
I think we lost
Can
it.
you still hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, let me just, sorry, they just took the lights. Sorry, they just took, but I'll keep talking. No problem. Okay, so
I think we have issue with its network. Well, let's just be hopeful that it comes back quickly. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Charity. Charity said he can hear us, but I think we just lost him. Maybe his network. We just hope that it will come back quickly. But before it comes back, I think we can just try to relate together about what public speaking. So he's been talking about being a professional public speaker and a trainer. He's been speaking to us on what, so he's going to come back. He's been speaking to us on what public speaking is all about. And I quite agree with him. So when you want to speak in the public, I think one of the things he mentioned is that you need to understand the feeling of your audience. And good enough for some of us, you could have some people that have spoken ahead of us, but in case you don't have anybody that's spoken ahead of you, if you are engaged on any public speaking or you are called for to speak at any event at all, and you don't have understanding of what the audience is, so it is quite okay for you to request from the host what your audience is like, because you don't want to shoot yourself in the leg. You want to understand who you want to talk to. You want to understand what exactly their needs are. Let me just tell him to come back. Okay, so while we wait for him, so you need to understand what your audience looks like, what your audience, what their feelings looks like. So it's okay for you to ask your host to let you know the kind of audience you want to speak to, because that could help you to prepare well and not to share examples
Hello?
that are not peculiar to
Okay,
your
hello?
audience. Mr. Danny, are you back?
Hello? Yeah, I'm
We
back.
can
Yeah,
hear
I'm
you.
back. Okay,
Good.
thank you
So you
very
can
much.
proceed.
So, like I said, all right, thank you very much. Sorry for that breaking transmission. Okay, so like I said, because of skin, this lady
It's not tonight.
gave
It's
me
just your network just has to be
the
good. Oh my. Otherwise, that's why we had to have a backup, you know. I'll just take on from where it
full
stopped. I hope we can hear him clearly. Mrs.
hug.
Annette, are you there?
Of course, that was
Wow. Okay, I think your network is really bad tonight. So maybe we can call you in some other times while I proceed with this session. And it's already getting interesting. Right. So let me just allow you settle down. Then you can come back in. Let me remove from stream. Yes. Okay. So guys, I said one of the things you need to be sure you do is to understand the feelings of your audience. Try to get the feeling, try to understand the audience. So if you're speaking to adults, speaking to students, the way you're going to speak to youth are going to be different from the way you're going to speaking to adults. Even sometimes if you're going to be having a mix of female, male, and or male only, female only, as a public speaker, you need to be sure who you are talking to so that you can pass the right message. So another point I'm going to note tonight is that you have to prepare ahead, and that's what he mentioned. You have to practice, and that's why sometimes you need to learn. You need to learn from others. Be in conferences. Hello, can we?
okay. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
So okay, I thank you for what you're doing. I'm actually on a conversation. I want to handle the public speaking now all the skills. They are
I think we lost him tonight. So you may have to come some other time to take us on this topic. Yeah, because we can't hear you. Your voice is breaking. So I'm just going to go ahead and
for that.
conclude this section
So
so that we
number
don't keep people
one,
waiting.
public a person. You're the real man. You're the just you to do their to people their WAEC or GCE or whatever because they can speak well. So there's a level of promotion that comes because you can speak publicly. Say, oh, you know what? That guy talks well. That girl talks well. So
So I'm not going to waste our time tonight. Let me just take him off. Right. So, like I was saying, that you have to know, understand the feelings of your audience. And the second one is that you have to prepare ahead of your meeting. see all those people that I see, even professionals, even at meeting in offices. I know some of you have deprived yourself a lot of things just because you find it difficult, speaking publicly. But I tell you, you can't be a leader without being a public speaker. It is not possible to be a leader without being a public speaker, because there will be a need for you to face the audience and speak. And like he mentioned, until their audience can understand what you're saying, until they can resonate with what you're saying, it is possible for you not to have spoken at all. So speaking is two ways. It's not just you talking. There has to be an understanding. There has to be understanding from the other end. Okay, so bottom line is that you have to prepare ahead. So when you want to go for any speaking engagement, or you want to speak about any topic at all, do as much research. Be sure you're versatile on that thing that you want to talk about. Be sure she is coming back, and let's just be hopeful.
So, still talking about the benefits of public speaking. As a public speaker, you feel great, esteemed, and happy as a person. This, I've been doing this right from my childhood, so I understand that even by speaking, because you can speak and people follow you, there's this feel of esteem, there's this self esteem you feel. There's this wow, I'm important. I am a noble person. And when people say, "Oh, that's a nice speech," there's a way you feel. Now, because of this, I just want to brush through that before anything goes on. So you attract people's attention. Many people want to be your friend because you're a public speaker. They want to, oh, who is the guy? Who is that woman? Who is she? Who is he? He speaks so. Public speaking has a lot of benefits. And I need to say this, most public speakers, like I said, even if they are not highly intelligent, they are seen as long as you can speak. In fact, speaking means you're intelligent. They see as, oh, this is somebody to follow. And last but not the least, at this point, public speaking also attracts money into your pocket. I can say that anytime, any day. If you can speak well, you can actually make some cash. I'm there, so I can speak for that. I can speak in that. It depends on your audiences. It depends on the way you perceive them. So your business is okay. I'm speaking to these people. How do I ensure that I win their hearts? It's about winning our heart. It's a marketing strategy. How do I ensure that at the end of the day, you don't want to hear any. Okay, okay. Talking about the skills you need in public speaking. Number one, skill number one is that you must be determined to hone your skills. What do I mean by that? I said earlier, everybody is a potential public speaker. But in order to move higher in this ladder, in this journey, you need to be willing to learn the heart. It's an heart, and it can be learned. How do you learn? Listen to the news, listen to broadcasts, listen to the news. Anytime, anywhere you need to listen. See the way people speak, listen to them speak, watch their tenses, because it's also about the way you bring out your words. When people say, "Oh, I love the way you combine your words. I love the way you put like," because you see, public speaking is a form of acting itself. Because you
So I think, guys, can you all still hear me? If you can hear me, say hi, right? So let me just conclude with what he's been talking about. Yeah, he's trying to give us the benefits, and I love the last part he mentioned, which is the fact that public speaking can bring money into your pocket. Public speaking can bring money to your pocket. So either you are a staff somewhere, or that is all that you do, or you have some other person, you're an entrepreneur and all that, you need to master the skills of public speaking. I know the issue most of the time is that most of us are scared of. Can you all hear me? I want to be sure of that. Let me go out of this. Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. Are you with me? Can I go on?
Yes.
Hello, can I continue?
Yes, please.
Hello? Okay,
You
so
can
let me just
continue.
brush through the benefits. Then I go to the opportunities in public speaking. Number one, you gain the respect and self-esteem of others. You generate accelerated promotion at work, even among your peers, wherever you find yourself. You become a worthy ambassador of your organization or your cause or even of yourself. You become somebody to be listened to, somebody to be highly esteemed. Next, you just talking to people. That is the starting point. Can you talk? Can you like they say, can you sustain a conversation for a long time? Can you talk to people like I'm talking to you? Number one, the opportunities are numerous. But I need to say this: there's so many opportunities out there, but you need to do yourself a favor. Go look for them. How do you look for them? Now I want to speak. I'm learning the art. Mr. Inka said I can speak even while I'm still learning the art. So what do I do? Look for opportunity. Do is when there's a program somewhere, I go to them. I say, okay, sir, ma, I saw this anvil. I saw this e-flyer. I would like to talk for 3 minutes on this topic. Okay, they don't know me, but they say, okay, we give it a try. And then I do 3 minutes. And you see, 3 minutes, and they're like, wow, that's cool. Thank you. Some other time you come. And then you build yourself that way. So one thing is this, in order to break through in public speaking, you need to build.
I think we've lost him again. So I think just best. Oh gosh. I think it's just best that we allow him for the rest of tonight. So I'm not going to bring him back in after this moment so that we don't waste our time, right? But I hope you've been able to get something. So what he said last, I could pick from him, is that when you how you can earn from your speaking, nobody knows you until you project yourself. So you have to take time to intentionally project yourself, and especially if you don't already have a large name, but it's something you want to do. For you to create, yes, public speaking gives you authority anyway. So for you to create that authority, for you to let people even know that you have authority in that field, you need to be intentional about it. So sometimes from what is said, if you know you're still coming up, sometimes if you know that somebody wants to have an event, you can just ask them. That's what and he has done that to me severally, right? He will just send me 1 minute clips, 2 minute clips, and they will say, I should hear him out and then give feedback. Sometimes at that time I was like, why? But my nature, because he requested from me and I don't know him from anywhere, right? I've not really seen him speaking like that before then. And he only just joined our volunteers group, and ever since he joined, he's been participating in one way or the other. So he would send me links of some event that he has been to, and maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, just to hear my opinion. I think he's trying to come back in. Should I bring him back? The network is really bad. I really want to. He has a whole lot to talk, but the network, network happened tonight for him. Let me try him one more time.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let me just go on. Another important skill is that you need to prepare your speech. Now, one of the things you do to prepare your speech is number one, ask questions. Okay, who are the people I'm speaking with? Like I said earlier, when you get into somewhere you need to speak to people, look at their mood, study their mood. Who are they? How do they feel? Are they excited people? Are they tired? Are they frustrated? You need to study. So you need to prepare your speech because you need to tailor each audience. For instance, I prepared this speech, I must be honest. However, there are times when you face the reality when the rubber hits the road. It could be tense at times. But as much as possible, if you've prepared, even though it's tense, you can still flow. So prepare your speech, know how many minutes you're going to speak for, and then talk based on this point. So it's also very important because it ensures that you communicate with your audience. 2 days ago, I'll just close with this story. I was to speak at an occasion, and it was a birthday party actually. And after my session, other people came to speak. And I remember somebody made a comment. He said, "Look at this brother. He went on stage, gave a speech, and he was up to the point." Every other person, they're dilly-dallying and taking time. So another thing about public speaking is you must be time conscious. You don't bore your audience. Because one thing I notice is once you start speaking and say, "Hey," and you still say, "Hey," the AAA means, "Bros, you're boring us." So as much as
Oh my gosh. Oh God.
said, you need to understand your audience, study their mood. Hello? Okay. Understand your audience, study their mood, know what you're talking about, speak exactly what you want to tell them. However, if you notice that what you see, the audience mood might not necessarily tally with what you prepared, there is room for improvisation. That's where creativity comes in public speaking. Yes, so you need to be creative. That's why, as a public speaker, you need to be top notch. One last thing, then I'm done, and I'll add over to Mama. If you're asked to come and anchor an event as an MC, it's also part of public speaking because there are opportunities out there for that too. I do a lot of that. Make sure when you get there, because oftentimes the people are coming from, let's say, the church service and its reception, and you have to speak, and you're there's some jokes you don't just crack. Be careful with your jokes. That is why I said there is need to develop skills. And you see, you don't develop skills just by just by going to speak. You develop them by learning, listening to other people speak, attending conferences, and read books. Yes, read books about public speaking. Also, listen to audio speeches, get audio tips. Read, and you will never regret studying. Mama, I think I should let you weigh in at this point.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I know the network happens
Hello?
tonight. Hello, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. Wow. So I think the network happens tonight, but in whole, he's been able to actually drop a few more points, right? So I know when you said you understand the kind of jokes you have to crack, because it's not all jokes. You have to be empathical. There are some people that just they are good at speaking, talking. They are vocal, but they are not public speakers. They are not professional. Let me use that one. They are not professional public speaker because you need to be conscious of all of this. So, guys, you can see that all of this that we're talking about are actually, skills that you can develop. There are skills that you can develop. The time consciousness is timeliness. There is in planning for you. You need to understand. Read and study. sometimes you may want to see if you really like the way some of the speaker, there are some people that you can look up to, even in this field of public speaking, maybe in the profession and all of that. And you just like the way the approach of talking and all that. You can, let me mute you, think. You can study the approach. So that's why when you go for conferences, when you go for events, when you go for public events, right? Be careful. Don't just stay to hear alone. Watch the speaker, right? If you see a person that has been long in it and there's something about them you can emulate, try to understudy those people. There is always something to learn from other person. And then read. You have to, as a public speaker, your mind has to be wide. You have to think wide. You have to express wide. You cannot just limit yourself to some topics alone. So you have to be very wide, because there are situations where you just have to stand and speak on a particular. It may not even, because speaking is not just about you being called to be a speaker at an event. It may be even in church. It may be in your school. It may be among your peers, and then you have to talk about something. You have to be confident about that thing. But if it must be that you have to go and speak on a topic, please do a good research as much as possible before you go. Prepare and rehearse. Let me tell you something, even in the corporate world, right? All this report that you see us presenting, they go for meeting and all that, they go for reporting. I've done several that have to be out of the company to go and report. Before you even do the final reporting, the actual reporting, you have to rehearse. There is power in rehearsing. Other than maybe you just want to give a talk or just want to do a freestyle, like this night now, of course, I know the topic you want to talk about. I intend to share from my experience. And now this whole network issues started happening, right? But because it's a topic that I'm conversant with, it is easy for me to engage everyone. It's easy for me to say a few other points, at least to engage you within this period. But if I don't understand a topic, then it becomes an issue, right? So you have to be careful. You have to understand the topic on board. You have to understand what you want to talk about. You have to understand your audience. You have to understand the purpose of the event, so that you're not going to be cracking unnecessary joke and you're in the midst of maybe a religious gathering, and then you're not bringing in joke that is not meant for such gathering. So you need to understand the gathering very well. You need to understand audience and then prepare ahead. And one more thing I'm going to mention, most of the time why people don't really want to speak is because they are fearful of being heard. I don't know why. You're being fearful of being heard. I'm going to put you on mute. Can you please mute your mic? Can you please mute your mic? I want your face to show. Okay, so I know a lot of reasons why some people don't want to speak is because they felt, I don't want people to pick up a mistake. You don't want people to pick up your mistake, or you don't want people to, I don't know, maybe you are fearful of even listening to yourself. So I would advise you to start from listening to yourself. You may have to go on and, even record your voice and listen to it. If you must go for some training on, how to speak on better way of speaking, you may have to go, because you really need it, at least to boost your confidence. Because most of the time, like you mentioned, every one of us can be public speakers. Every one of us. It doesn't remove it. And there is a lot of gain in it when you can confidently face your audience and speak your mind. Because you're all becoming leaders on our field, in whatever field you find yourself. Even if you don't want to be, if you don't want to learn from public speaking, you can earn, indirectly from your work. Like, for instance, you can't be a proper salesperson or do well in your sales, in the sales of your items or products, without being ready to speak. You need to be ready to speak. You need to be ready to face people. You can't hide in your room and say you want to sell. It's not possible. So meaning everywhere, everyone needs the skills of public speaking. And we have a low loss of them, even in this group that we're in, we have a lot of people that train on public speaking. Charity is one of them. She joined earlier. She's trained on public speaking, and you can engage them to help you to build your confidence. Some other time you may want to join, some groups that resonate with your quality or your value. You may want to join a volunteering service such that you'll be able to show your face more and be able to engage with more people. By the time you start practicing over time, it becomes an in thing for you, and then it becomes something that you don't have to think about before engaging with people. I think you get to a level in life, except for some specific report or maybe a specific event that you want to go for. There's some time in your life that you just stand, and when your opinion is asked about a topic, you voice out your opinion because you are ready. You've already trained yourself to that level. You've already built yourself to that level. You've taken off the spirit of fear and you've put yourself in with that confidence that could help you to face anyone. So let's now move a bit to speaking online, right? Speaking online. You can see from his end the other time is a bit dark, and when I first joined also, because I was in the vehicle, is a bit dark. Depending on where you're going, I think you should try as much as possible if you want to be an online public speaker, right? If you want to go far online, I think you should work on what your audience are saying. I'm not saying go and break your bank, but there's a few things you can do to help your audience to really resonate with what you're doing, like illuminating your environment, stay where people can see your face, right? It's trying to come back on, but I think it's network. I'm not going to bring you back in. Okay, so try to relate to the room where you're speaking. That doesn't mean you should go and kill yourself. If you don't have the money for ring lights here, don't bother yourself. Just make sure there's light in your room that can illuminate. And where you have to test your room first in a way that you check where is best illuminated in your room, so that you will be able to, your audience can see you and they can perceive you. But I tell you, if you have value to share, there are a lot of ways you can speak even online without having to show your face. There's an audio, way you can present. So even if you don't, you are with somewhere that you cannot show the environment, but you have something worthy to share with people that can impact people, just go by audio and then go live, right? So with this, you can help yourself to bring the best out of you. But first thing you need to work with is your mindset. Your mindset needs to resonate with the fact that nobody will pick your mistake, right? Even if they do, it's one, and that's why you need to really practice well before you come on board. But in case you make a mistake, just agree, make a jest around it, just agree with yourself that you've done that mistake and move on. That would not be the end of it. You won't be the first person or the last person that is going to make a mistake, while speaking. And if you make such mistake, just move on. Just note that mistake so that you don't do it some other time. The only issue that you can have, because I know that a lot of newbies are among us, so I'm not going to place you, the expectation like you have to be this at the beginning so that I don't scare you away. So, but you have to really try yourself, boost your confidence, look straight into the camera. Look straight into the camera, position yourself when you're speaking, create that gesture so that people can relate with you when you are speaking. People want to see that you know what you're talking about. So some people even be speaking jargons and they still stand confidence in speaking the jargons, right? Because they've mastered the faith, but don't go and be speaking jargons. That's why you need to do your practice. You need to read very well. A speaker has to be a reader. You cannot beat that. You have to be a reader and read around the subject more, around the subject area you're preaching, and in addition to that, you can read diversely to other things that is happening around you. Listen to news, go to pub, events that showcase the kind of value that you portray, so that you'll be able to see people. Don't, just engage yourself in a way that can boost your confidence in speaking. Be in a gathering, volunteer to speak. Maybe they're asking question in an event, in training, speak up. That's how you train yourself. You can't train yourself by keeping quiet. It doesn't work. You have to speak us, ask question intentionally. My name is this, then ask your question so that people can hear your voice, so that you can hear yourself. Do not hide yourself forever. If you really want to be a leader, there is no way you will not speak. Every leader will be at one point or the other speak. I said you also don't want to be all those kind of glorified leaders. No, that you just want to be happy with yourself. But if you want to go global, there is no way that you not speak out. So just identify, look within yourself. What are those things that I need to improve on? What are those things that I need to help myself with? What areas that I need to help myself with? And then you go ahead and, improve on those areas. We are all still learning. There is no, everybody's still learning. Somewhere you learn from somebody, somewhere in your field. Your mentor has a mentor, because everybody has somebody that is, that they get some strength from. Even if you are so far in your area, there's still somebody that you are gaining strength from. So that means you need to help yourself to grow. So because a lot of benefits in this, it helps your promotion, it helps your businesses, it helps you to present yourself. A lot of people sell great things, but to come online where they have great opportunity to sell, to come online and then face people, they find it difficult. They are not employee like myself. At least I can see this excuse for myself. But even at that, I still speak. Even when I said I'm not doing so much, people are telling me I'm doing so much. You understand? So that means you need to really help yourself to grow. You really need to help yourself to grow. And then check, if we need to improve on addiction, we need to really work on all those things, so that all those tenses we are improving daily. We are improving on our grammatical way of our expression and everything. We are improving our intonation. We are improving. So you don't have to be here. I'm not there, but I can speak on topics that are relating to my area. So that is telling you also can do it, right? You also can do it. I remember when I first joined my company where I am currently, and on my first week of visit, they asked me to come and address the whole company. Of course, because of my position. So I have to address, let's say I have not been up to game in addressing people, it will be difficult for me to address anybody. So that's, your audience are your friend. Try to make friendship, try to make your audience your friend. Don't let them look like you are being dreadful of them. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So do you have
Hello?
any other words? Do you have any others for our audience? Yeah, before you go.
Can you say that again?
Do you have any other words for our audience before you go?
Any advice?
Yes.
Yes, what I'll just say to our audience is this. You start from where you are. Where you are. You don't no matter what happens, don't be this.
Okay. So, like you said, start from where you are. Start from where you are. And we're doing this all, we are doing this all training just because of the challenge, an opportunity for us also to train people. When I say come on board, do video, the expectation is that you know what you have to do, right? So this is an opportunity for us to also train ourselves or talk to ourselves on this thing that we actually ask ourselves to do, right? So make your audience your friend. You're not to be be frightened of your audience. The audience are really your friends. So when you look into your mind and say, these people are like me, you're thinking your audience are you, then you will relate more better. But when you see your audience as very high, sometimes when we go to an event, when we see people that are very higher than us, instead of us shooting our shots, we get scared like, what do I say? Especially when it comes to, professional level, and you're feeling, what will I say that will move this person? You're not trying to impress anybody. You're only trying to speak on a topic, and then you want your audience to engage with you. So as much as possible, make it a deal to engage with your audience. And back to, when it comes to online engagement, right? Because people's time are precious, right? So you need to fix your talk within the time being given to you. A lot of people find it difficult staying too long online and all that. So even though I count it as something that it shouldn't be, but you may have to just consider other people that are listening to you and make your point, just go straight to your point. Don't waste people's time, except you're just you all agree that this is just a fun, it's just a fun time together, that you're coming online, and then you can just waste away the time. But when it comes to professional way of delivering your message online, go straight to the point. Just go straight to the point. Drop the points, because sometimes when we wander away, people already know all those things. A lot of people already understand all those things. Yes, I understand sometimes the reason is that there are some people that are still newbies that really want to catch up with what we are talking about. But as much as possible, the point is go straight to the point, because people's time are precious, right? And I said the other time, look straight to your camera, and then so that you can form a kind of eye to eye contact. When I'm talking to you like I'm doing now, it appears that we are together, in this room talking. So try and imagine yourself talking to people, face to face, and just lock your face. Lock your face with them. Let them know that you're with them. Find your eyes to their heart, and just find a way to just relate. And sometimes when we're giving example, give example of what is fact. That's why sometimes it's better you give example of what you know happened to you, or happened something of fact. Don't go ahead online or during your speech and give instances of things that are false, because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who are in your audience that could pick that up for you, and they actually know the fact. So when you're trying to make people thinking you're trying to make people happy, and you're giving instances that are false, by the time you conclude, they will pick it out for you. So it's better you speak on fact. If you don't know, just say truthfully that, oh, I'll remember later, or if I remember, I'll get back to you. That is okay. Nobody is an island of, you can forget anything at any time. But, giving a false speech or a false example when you're giving speech is very wrong. So if you forget something, just go ahead and skip that area, or you mention that there's a particular name for something you're trying to remember, then you get back to them, or before you finish you can still remember. Try and be truthful in your speech. Try and go straight to it. Try and be truthful with your speech. Make it something that anybody, any day, when you look back, you say that I'm the one that said it. And peradventure, you thought that something is true, and you mention it during your speech, and later you realize that that thing may not be true. It is okay for you to come back to your audience and, correct the wrong, if time permits, so that you can erase that perception. Sometimes when people go with information, it spread. And if they now get to know that it's something else, it becomes, so you're not trying to impress anybody, you're only trying to add value to people. So if you look at it from the angle that I'm trying to add value to people, right, you will want to do more of public speaking, because there's nobody that will know what happened in your mind. A lot of people that are grown up with a lot of ideas just because they try to keep mute. And you don't want to do this to your generation. You want to help your generation to also grow. You want to help somebody else to also grow. The beauty of it is that as you're helping others to grow, you are growing. As you're helping people to grow, you are also growing, no matter how little it is. by a step you are moving forward, by a step you are moving forward. So you don't want to lose on that. That is why it is very important for you to make sure that when you're dating people, you think about giving back value. So thank you everyone for engaging with us tonight. Do you have any questions? If you have any question, if you have any question, please drop it so that we can treat that. So I think we've been able to, dwell on a lot of things tonight. And one critical thing is that you mentioned is that public speaking is not concluded until you persuade your audience. So you need to find a way of persuading your audience, change their mood, connect them to yourself, and help them. Even if there are some people that doesn't want to, engage with you over time, they will want to, because at the end of the day, when they see the value that comes from you, they will always want to engage with you. So see every opportunity when you want to speak out something as an opportunity to to express your value, to express your personality. Even if it's just one-on-one, you are in a meeting, they say 5 minutes, break, and then connect with people. Take that as a chance for you to connect and speak of your value. It goes a long way in helping you in future. So thank you everyone that joined tonight. Since there is no question, I've not seen any question being dropped. So since there is no question, I will assume that we all enjoy our public speaking 101, and then you enjoy my samples. So tomorrow again, we are continuing with the challenge, and I'd like you all to take time to engage. If you have not been, if you didn't start with us, you can still join us, right? So it's not like I did not start, I will not continue. If you've not started with us, you can still join us. It's just an opportunity to arouse and help ourselves to grow, to to just encourage ourselves to be better off. And I know by doing all of this, we're taking a step ahead of who we were before we started this challenge. I appreciate everyone tonight that joined. Thank you, everyone. Let me try and go to my Facebook page to see if I can pick a bit of name. So if this we're using StreamYard. So and okay, Sister Aduma Koro, thank you for joining. Marvelous Babajide, thank you for joining. Charity Usa, thank you for joining. Adeoshun Saiwo, thank you for joining. And every other person that joined tonight that I couldn't mention your name, thank you for joining. So tomorrow, I think the next thing we're doing tomorrow is on video related, and that's why I said we have to do this before tomorrow. So tomorrow, try and come with your video and engage with everyone. Thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. So maybe by tomorrow evening, I'll just come on board to also check with us how the challenge has been going. Thank you. Have a great night.